the Texans can't afford to lose to the Cowboys. Like you can make a case that they can still win the division if they lose to the Cowboys, but when it comes to just the sanity of the fan base, the overall feel of the team, the opportunity laid out when it comes to the schedule, they can't afford this. And there's, I think it's funny, but there's a lot of people in Houston that kind of, I don't want to use the word obsessed, but there's a big passion about the Cowboys to where if you asked who your least favorite team was, Cowboys would get a hell of a chunk when it comes to least favorite in Houston. I think it's kind of weird because I don't think that's the same in Dallas. I think in Dallas, they just kind of go about their business and they have their division rivals, but there is a strong distaste for the Dallas Cowboys in Houston. And when you look at what's happened to the Texans the last 2 weeks, they've been embarrassed on primetime. Amazon saw them get embarrassed by the Jets. Sunday Night Football saw them get embarrassed by the Lions. And now you face a Cowboys team that you're supposed to beat that's not very good, where all is lost. When it comes to the fan base, when it comes to the patience, I think the most optimistic can kind of forgive you for losing a Thursday night game to the Jets on short rest. They can forgive you for losing to one of the best teams in the league, regardless of how it looked like. But if you go and lose to this dog-butted Cowboys team, I think the honeymoon, if it's still existing for some, is going to be gone. And if you look at it even further, you have the next 3 games against teams that are really bad, that will most likely be drafted in the top 10 of the draft. Before the bye, you have the Cows, you have the Titans, and you have the Jags. 3 of the worst teams in the league right now. After that, it gets a little bit more difficult. You're going to have Miami, you're going to have Baltimore, you're going to have Kansas City. So it's in your best interest to do what you've really done to this point, to their credit, I guess, and beat the teams that you're supposed to beat. And this is one of those teams, and this is more than just a loss. I don't think DeMeco Ryans can afford to lose a game to the Cowboys. And the other thing is they suck. So if you're going out there, all that aside and all the feelings and all that stuff aside and the layout of the schedule, they suck. They're not good. They got Cooper Rush at quarterback. Trey Lance is basically on standby. You can't afford to lose your 3rd straight game and lose 3 straight primetime games, the last one being a team up 45 that everyone hates around here that just flat out sucks. They're not a good team at all. You can't afford that.
Yeah. It would be a parachute point in the season. And what I mean by that is you pull the parachute and you're out of there. You're bailing on the season for a lot of people if you lose to the Dallas Cowboys. And I do wonder what would happen in the locker room if you lose to the Dallas Cowboys. That'd be 3 straight losses. That'd be 3 of your last 4 if you lose to the Dallas Cowboys. And that's where I feel like people and players in the locker room will start looking around and be like, this is not going anywhere close to what we thought it was going to be. Because I know, people outside the Texans had high expectations for this team and where can they go and what can they accomplish. This locker room clearly had high expectations for what they were going to put together. And if they have a midseason swoon where they lose 3 out of 4, they lose 3 straight primetime games, that would be just a huge, huge obstacle to overcome from a mentality standpoint. They really got to get these next 3, head into the bye week with some momentum, even if it's – and I would go as far as to say they need to get these next 3 soundly and head into the bye week feeling really good about the direction they're going, not just like hobble to the bye and then finish strong in the final 4. Like they kind of need to soundly get to the bye week, and it starts with the Dallas Cowboys.
You're getting greedy now, brother.
You're
getting really greedy, expecting them to win games soundly.
What
the hell have you been watching?
This is
let's make some realistic expectations. I don't know what the
you
hell
just took them to beat the Cowboys by more than 8 points. What are you watching?
Yeah, I'm watching the Cowboys play, but you're saying
Tennessee and Jacksonville the Cowboys.
Yeah, you're talking soundly. They've won 1 game soundly this week, my friend, or this season. 1.
Yeah, it was against a team that's better than the Jaguars and the Titans.
Yeah, but yeah, 3 soundly dubs. You're getting greedy now, man. Is that Kool-Aid in that cup?
No, it's a cranberry diet.
Okay, I can see that. It must have the same effect to Kool-Aid.
And they put some vodka in it, though. The Texans make me drink.
3 sound dubs is very unrealistic with the squad. But I'll just tell you this right now:
8 points on Monday Night Football is unrealistic.
What? Did you watch Cooper Rush play? They're not good.
Have you watched the Jacksonville Jaguars play with Mac Jones? They're not good.
I have not. I've kind of avoided that. They're kind of off the radar. Same thing with the Titans with Will Levis. My point is this: you can't lose. Like, of all the games to lose, it's one thing to lose and embarrass yourself like the Texans have the last 2 weeks. DeMeco Ryans, Texans, you cannot afford to lose to the Dallas Cowboys. You cannot.
Can you even afford like a crappy performance? Like wouldn't and it's obviously not as bad as a loss. A loss is horrific. But like, can you afford a crappy win against the Cowboys?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You can. Yes, this team just needs to win. They need to get back in control of things, and then who knows what happens with the Titans. But yeah, I'm not style pointing this ball club. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take it that far and style point them. But you do got to get this dub against the Cows. You have to. Can't lose it.
The scary part about 3 weeks ago, they beat the Indianapolis Colts, and it was a scary win that didn't have a lot of style points to it, and they walked in ahead of the Jets and acted like everything was fine because they'd gotten a victory. So I just wonder if that would be the case with the Cowboys. If they just skate by, they'd act like everything is fine because they beat the Dallas Cowboys regardless of the result.
Yeah, I don't know whether they'll act like it's fine or not. I just know you can't lose this one, brother. You can't lose this one, brother. And I do wonder, what the things to be scared of. I think Micah Parsons probably wants to beat CJ Stroud a little bit more. I think Micah Parsons could probably give this offensive line some fits.
Micah Parsons needs to bail on the podcast for a minute until the Cowboys are worth a crap again.
Not going to happen. And the funniest thing about him is he's the guy who says something and then starts blaming people for exactly what he said. He starts to generalize the media and say stuff. It's like, brother, you said what you said. But he doesn't really stand out. He's an interesting character. Drama seems to follow him from high school to college, everywhere. It just seems to go with Micah Parsons. But it's a scary thought.
He could wreck the game.
He can wreck the game, but on the other side, I think the Texans defense, that's the one good thing they have going for them is this defense, whether they're healthy, whether they're not, DeMeco's defense is ready to go. Probably not going to have Kamari Lassiter this week, but Cowboys don't have too many receivers. Just can't afford to lose that one.